What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people, like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing Group and the Call Center Geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center contact center podcast. We try to give you some actionable items, take back in your contact center, improve the overall quality, improve your agent experience, hopefully improve your customer experience as well. My name is Tom Laird. I'm the CEO here at Expivia Interaction Marketing. We are a 600-seat call center outsourcer located here in northwestern Pennsylvania. How's everybody doing? I meant to do this late last week, but kind of the days just kind of went by pretty quick. So wanted to talk this through today. I think that this is a huge value add for any type of contact center manager, contact center executive. We've really had to rethink contact center management training. Right. Post-COVID, everybody's kind of work from home now. We used to have kind of everybody here, and it was easy just to kind of pull quick meetings and kind of utilize everybody here that was in the office. But now with people that are in our management team that are home and our agents that are home, it's a little bit different. And I think management training for contact centers is something that really needs to be looked at, because things are a lot different than where we were 2018, 2019. So, we have not implemented this with our staff yet, but this is some of the things that we have been talking about that we're going to really implement for 2023. Kind of excited to kind of share some things with you guys to see if any of this stuff will help. I think it should spur some things in your management thought processes to hopefully be able to improve some of the ways that you're training your management team through your on floor. I guess we still call them on floor or frontline call center supervisors, team leads, and those aspects, even getting into QA and some of those guys. So let's start with this thing too. And again, I think everybody realizes this, but I have to say it because I think it is a big part of this. Is number one is, please understand that it is not, if you just have a really good agent, unbelievable QA scores here all the time, you want to promote them, right? To just kind of give them the keys to the Ferrari without any type of training, right? It's kind of like having a really good server in a restaurant and you make them a bartender and you don't train them at all. And they're like, well, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's a totally different skill set from what you need as a contact center supervisor. It's a total different skill set to be a leader of a team than it is just to be kind of that individual trying to do really, really, really well. Get my mic here again. Sorry. And I think that these are some of the skills that we need to impart in these management trainings for them to do really well in your supervisory roles in the contact center. The first thing is, I think you need to kind of build the hierarchy, right, of who you want to train and how do they progress. We want to do weekly agent analysis. I've done multiple podcasts on the agent analysis where we're talking to our agents, finding out what their goals, how do we progress them, and try to get them on a path to become where they want to be. When it comes to kind of understanding that, we have to look at, are there different roles that they can have? Can they go from an agent to a team lead to a supervisor to maybe a production manager? And again, us in the BPO world, maybe it's some different lingo than you have. Do they want to go to QA and be a supervisor there? How does that play out? I think, that's kind of the first piece of this, right? Is before you even train, to kind of understand and try to put them on a path, right, to make them successful and really to kind of feel, who the people are that really want to succeed. I think, if you just kind of post things, and we've done this. So again, I'm not criticizing it because this is kind of how we've done things post-COVID. If somebody on TikTok just said, can I pretend to be her uncle to get her out of a test? I will pay you. I can't. Sorry. Appreciate that. Again, let me stay back on track here. So I think that's the first piece, right? The second thing is what we're going to do, and we have done this. So this is kind of old school, kind of bringing new school is. So let's, say we have a group of 4 or 5, call center agents that have applied. We've kind of talked through. We believe that they meet our pillars of culture, right? Attitude and effort, right? They're the ones that we would like to be kind of the next generation of kind of watching and kind of mentoring our agents. We want to do things. One, we're having weekly training sessions with them. So these weekly training sessions, I think, really become, part of the core of the management training program. So, for us, our team leads are our management trainees. So we don't really have just kind of I guess we kind of do, right? But for the most part, if you are a team lead, you're a management trainee, you're training to become a supervisor. So it's not kind of a secondary thing. It's not like team lead, management trainee, supervisor. They all kind of play together. And so we want to talk about some things such as leadership theory, right? Understanding that our culture is the most important thing that can happen on your team. Right? And again, defining the culture of your contact center is extremely important with us. Again, we talk about ours, attitude and effort. Right? These are what we're going to try to train our supervisors to watch for, to try to make sure that they are exuding that type of confidence and want and understand how to impart that kind of in their agents as well. In these meetings, other things we're talking through is confrontation. I think confrontation is something that either you're really good at or you're really poor at. And you can be poor in multiple ways. Number one, you can be too soft, right? And you let things go. You're just kind of like praying, right, that it just goes away. The other way is you can be a jerk, right? You can be, extremely authoritative. You can be thinking that you have power. Those types of things are the things that we want to train out and have you understand kind of what your personality is, become self-aware of who you are and what you're doing, and understand what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And I think that's a really, really important deal. And we role play this. And I think that's the main way how you can kind of figure this stuff out, is coming up with those scenarios, and I apologize. I have 20 scenarios, and I'll post a couple more this week. I think we got through 3 or 4 of them, but basically it talked about an agent who, is a really good agent, but is always late for break. How do you deal with that? We have an agent who is really good in their QA scores, but just refuses to sell, even though we have to have them sell. What do? You just pull them off, take them somewhere else? How do you try to help them? How do you coach, right? What are some of the core tenets of how we coach, right? Because again, it's one thing to just say, hey, go tell this agent to do something better, or this agent is struggling doing this. Can you go fix that? Right. But if you have a structure, right, for how you want to train and how you want to educate and how you want to coach, all of those types of things need to kind of come through. So I think the scenarios are a big piece of this, right? To have, and that's kind of why we initially built the 20 scenarios for this new management training program. We tried to cover as many things as we possibly could, when it comes to, maybe reps or some of the real world things that kind of happen, on a team. We want to give them the practical skills. We want to role play all these scenarios. We want to have that be a big part of this. We want them to understand, again, when something happens, this is exactly how you react to it. This is when you need to go to HR. This is when you don't. The other thing is we need to make sure how to practically run a call center, right? So talking about KPIs, right? What is service level? What is handle time? What is, ASA? What are all these metrics and these KPIs? You would be surprised when you have a agent who's been here for a really long time, doing a really good job on the customer support side. Right? They don't really understand what those metrics are, things that we take for granted. So that's a huge piece. And again, I think we built, right, for me and all the content that we're putting out from the call center term dictionaries to looking at KPIs to talking through reporting, right? These are all things that we're doing internally in our call center, or we'll be doing and kind of all putting together. Now, as we were putting these things together, we started just to kind of put them out to try to help, right? But to kind of come with this all-inclusive type of management program, right? So that our reps, our supervisors do understand what all these metrics mean. And when I call into or Slack somebody like, hey, why is our service level here? I notice our, AHT is a little bit high, right? Those aren't foreign terms to them. And again, we take a lot of that stuff for granted. Practical skills are important. And then covering the company's kind of backside as well is extremely important with this, because these are going to be the individuals other than HR who have the most kind of touch points with our agents. Right. So the legal aspect of this is something that a lot of people don't think about. Right. So what can you say in a Slack? What can you say when you're coaching? What are some of those legal aspects? How do you avoid so that you're not doing anything that is inappropriate, that there's no sexual harassment, that you don't make off-color jokes, right? Understanding what you can say, what you can't say. And I think, again, you're protecting the company by kind of training this. But then once you do that, they kind of protect the company by making sure that it's kind of policed, with the agents as well, which, I think is a huge piece of manager trainee. We like to do our manager trainees will be on the floor, right? They will be kind of, again, like our team lead. So when a supervisor goes on break, when they, do have to call out or they're sick, those agents will then kind of take over the team, right? So there needs to be a lot of side-by-sides that is done as well. And we have a set quota, right? And again, every organization is going to be a little bit different with how many times you want to do that. But, a set quota of how many times that to pass their kind of management training test. They want to do coaching with the supervisor for a specific period of time. They want to do their own coaching that is looked at by the supervisor, right? It's kind of a mentor. So they're role playing these aspects of taking over their own team with kind of the helper of that core supervisor there. And then we're going to take all of those into meetings too. And we're going to talk through, how did we do with that, right? What were some of the things that you really struggled with when you were coaching, right? Kind of talk it through with that group and kind of a group setting. I think that really, really helps to really understand kind of, the inner workings of the aspect of the job. Everybody has different personalities. We're talking through, and again, how do you start the day the right way? These are things that are kind of chapters of our meeting as I'm kind of, talking this through. Is we like to start the day with the supervisor running. We say when we were internally, the supervisor controlled the first 30 minutes of the shift. And now I think because we're work from home and there's more IMing and those kind of things, it's the first hour of the shift. There's a team meeting. And again, I understand that not everybody's starting and running 9 to 5s. Every 15-minute, 20-minute intervals, agents could be coming, agents could be going, depending on the size of your contact center and how volumes are happening. But we want to try the best we can to do kind of an overall morning meeting, right? Especially maybe with that first interval of agents. As agents are coming in, we're doing side by side, or I should say it used to be side by side, doing one-on-ones, doing an IM with them, talking about the goals. And again, there's a full podcast on this. I'm not going to go into detail on this, but a lot of these things we're bringing back into kind of the management trainee aspect of this too. Having a team meeting, if you can, at least setting the KPIs in Slack so that as people are coming, they can kind of see what that meeting was about. Doing individual goal setting for the day, right? Hey, Janie, listen, today we're really going to really work on your handle time, right? It's been like 6 minutes and 30 seconds. We got to get that under 6 minutes. Or, hey, let's make sure we're listening for closing sales. Your conversion is so close, right? You're at 28%. We got to get that thing to 30. I think one more sale and you're going to be there, right? Giving them set goals for their specific needs and understanding how to start a day is a really important piece of a call center manager. So if you can kind of set the day, train your agents and your supervisors to kind of set the core day, understand how you want to coach, understand the attitude and effort piece of this, understand all the legal aspects of what they can say, what they can't say. They become an advocate for your organization. And we're all speaking with one voice. Understand when there is confrontation, how you want it dealt with. when do you get HR involved? When can you handle it yourself? When making sure that things aren't lingering on, that you are confronting things that as they happen. Again, another podcast is on that, right? Dealing with confrontation in your contact center and how to deal with, agents maybe that are struggling with or being kind of a pain in the rear. That's kind of an overarching kind of 30,000 foot view of kind of what we're working on. I don't want to really get specific because I don't know how much that will, help with your specific instance of doing this. But I think if you think some of those things through, how you want to improve it, the biggest piece of this, I think, is benchmarking a lot of what you're doing, right? Making sure that everybody is speaking the same voice, making sure that we're all talking through the same thing so that we don't have any subjectivity on different teams is really, really important. Having that aspect of just uniformity, with how things are happening in your contact center, I think really makes it, it will become a really cool place. And I think your middle management solves 99% of all the problems. If they're really well trained, you understand what voice you have. You're going to have a lot of issues that kind of either don't arise in the first place or when they do are going to go away much quicker, right, than if we're just kind of muddling our way through of how we should be able to deal with things. The last thing that we do is we do have a graduation. We have gone away and we're bringing it back, but we had I know it maybe sounds a little hokey, but we actually have like an oath of office, right, that they take their razor right hand and, talk about all the things, from our kind of our mission that they are going to do. They sign their name in a book that, we will keep. We have done this so much in the past. And again, it just frustrates me that we've gotten away with it with COVID, but really thinking this up through, because I think it is a cultural thing. I think it's a really cool aspect of it, right? To have, we have a book that has, supervisors going back like 10 years. And even I have one back from our other organization that goes back like 15 years. And even kind of seeing the names, it's kind of like a yearbook, right? Where you kind of sign it through. I think that's really important. And then, again, whether it's a party, whether it's a pizza party, whether we just, kind of hang out and say thank you and just recognize that these people, they did do something extra. They didn't just do the bare minimum on a Monday, right? Bare minimum Monday. They didn't do, we'll just kind of get through it. They did do something extra. They wanted to try to do something more, and that should be celebrated. That should be rewarded. And if you can really, put together a plan for these guys that is well structured. Again, I'm kind of talking high level here. Again, I know I've said that, but I will have this for everyone. We will have a full documented management training program that we are utilizing, and I will send it out to you guys for free so that you'll be able to see kind of how the days of the week work, how our meetings work, when we're doing what, and hopefully you can use that as a blueprint for what you'd like to do. So Dustin, I'll tell you this, like I've tried. So I know LinkedIn has and the comment was, hey, maybe consider creating a LinkedIn learning course for VPOs on call centers. I've tried to reach out to them. I think there's a couple people who are really good, but they've kind of locked down, I think, a lot of the call center stuff, and they don't even respond to me. I think it's the same thing with a lot of the conferences. I've been so vocal about the conferences, right, that I don't kind of blame them for kind of, I think, probably blackballing me from speaking. Now I'm going to apply to speak at ICMI, right? They had a call for speakers, and I'm going to, try to speak at ICMI, but I guarantee you that I will get blackballed from those guys. CCW, they don't even speak to me anymore. Because again, I think, some of the things from the conferences that we've talked about with cost and price and value, and I've been probably one of the most vocal voices. So, and I guess I don't really blame them for that. I probably would do the same thing. And I'm fine with that because, again, and this is the first time. So I'm on LinkedIn Live here, on TikTok Live, and then I've just found out through our StreamYard platform here, I can go on Facebook Live too. So this is the first time that we're on Facebook Live as well. So, I think I can get my voice out and hopefully, this content can help you guys out other than, kind of going through the LinkedIn route. But Dustin, I'm going to try. I'll try one more time to reach out to those guys, and maybe we do keep it less about call centers, but more specifically about BPO call centers. I don't know if that's too niche for them. We'll kind of see. So again, guys, that's kind of what I have. Again, I know it's relatively quick, but I've been excited with what we've been doing with this management trainee thing. I think it's a long time coming in my organization to kind of rethink how we were doing it. We kind of got away with it, again, like I said, from the COVID aspect of what we're doing. So to really put this kind of back down on paper, have everybody kind of understand the vision of what we want and how we want people treated. I think that's the really, and listen, so I talked about having a party and people are, again, on TikTok because I get the most haters on TikTok, but keep your pizza, I'll take a half day. And yeah, I mean, we could probably do that. And we do a bunch of that kind of stuff, or maybe we'll even go have a beer afterwards. Like, can you imagine that? Probably people throwing some hate at that now. I love TikTok, but you guys are just tough. TikTok is like, if you have any comment whatsoever, there will be people on TikTok that will say the opposite just to say the opposite. It's fun to interact, but then it can just get exhausting as well. And again, I've gone away with, I don't talk about things from a pay standpoint. I don't talk about bare minimum Mondays or work ethic or any of that stuff anymore, because TikTok just, it blows up in your face. I've learned my lesson. So I'm just trying to keep it straight, call center stuff, contact center stuff, and kind of moving on from there. And to be honest, as I've done that, the following has grown much quicker, right? I may get a video with 200,000 views or 150,000 views talking about the other stuff, but I don't get followers. But when I talk about just hardcore call center stuff like this, that's kind of when I do get more followers or more consistent followers. So I've decided I'm going to take this route and kind of play it out for as long as we go. So again, that's kind of what we got from a management training standpoint. That's, again, very kind of overarching. I will have more specifics when we kind of launch it to our agents and our supervisors. I will give it to everybody. We'll throw it on LinkedIn. I'll do a carousel or do a PowerPoint so that everybody can kind of see exactly what we're doing. And hopefully that can help you guys, and that should be out within the next couple of weeks. Help you guys really get specific on how you train your management, how you help them meet the culture of what your organization is, how you benchmark and make sure that everything is really consistent with how you're speaking to individuals, speaking to your agents, and hopefully can improve the overall, customer experience as well. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll talk to everybody next week.